Imagine sleeping over at a museum, but everything comes to life at night. Well, you can do that, but in a horror game. Weirdly, it wasn't scary at all, but it was fascinating. It's called Night of the Extinct, and it might be the strangest mix of Madagascar, Night at the Museum, and Five Nights at Freddy's I've ever seen. Except instead of surviving, you spend half the time putting cardboard cutouts on pressure plates. Look, this game's premise is simple. You play as a mid-2010s YouTuber named Elliot, who challenges himself and his YouTube audience to spend the night at a potentially haunted museum. If you've ever watched those old challenge videos, 24 hours in XYZ, the ones filmed in like an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese, you already know the vibe I'm talking about. Overconfident, underprepared, and completely ready to die for that sweet ad revenue. Sounds like the perfect game for me, so I put on my big boy pants, got my camera rolling, and within 5 minutes realized this game might weirdly be the perfect time capsule of early YouTube horror. Not because it's terrifying, but because it's actually kind of hilarious. The game begins with Elliot filming himself selfie style, flipping his camera around, yelling into the lens like he's expecting a sponsorship deal to come through. He looks like Logan Paul if he had eaten 8-bit Ryan. The only thing worse than the dialogue in this scene is the hyper graphics animation YouTuber intro right at the beginning of the video. Nothing sent me more into a rage than seeing one of those before a 30-second tutorial video back in the day. Also, his intro is so spot on in the things that he says and the sound effects like the Vine boom that it's triggering, which means the game is doing its job. He explains that his comment sections on previous videos have been spamming suggestions of where he should do the Stay the Night challenge, and I didn't miss the cheeky shade thrown towards FNAF. He mentions a pizza place, but been there, done that, right? Ultimately, the museum with the rumor that things come to life at night wins the ballot, which, to be fair, does sound interesting. At least the instant assumption isn't that there's some dead children's souls manifesting animatronics. The visuals honestly look like Madagascar. It's like soft lighting, the figures are blocky. To be honest, it's a little bit nostalgic. Like most mascot horror games, you start in a random room with no entry point. It's a gift shop. Shelves full of potential merch, dimmed lights, and absolutely no explanation on how you got in. No door behind you or open window. You just spawn there, like Mr. Bean. Nothing's really happening in this beginning part of the game, but somehow it's still pretty unsettling. Because if you've played enough indie horror, you know this is the calm before the Unity engine storm. The next room has your first enemy, a night guard, but not a scary one. He's short, round, and looks like the old man from Up doing community service. He walks toward you slowly, waving his flashlight, spamming the same lines every 3 seconds. With my favorite, justice will be served. Bro thinks he's Batman, but in khakis. There's a huge key sitting behind the ticket counter, and grabbing it feels like stealing candy from a baby. But I assure you, the challenges do not remain this easy. The guard keeps following you, but his AI is confused. He'll bump into walls, mumble about justice, and forget you exist sometimes. Actually, now that I think about it, his AI is actually extremely accurate for an old man. That's exactly how an old person would be. It's not scary, but it's so earnest that it's kind of endearing. Then come the puzzle rooms. And by puzzles, I mean cardboard cutouts on pressure plates. You pick up random junk, boxes, props, literal cardboard cutouts of dinosaurs, and stack them on pressure plates to unlock doors. Why? Because apparently this museum's security system was designed by Big Pressure Plate. This is just their propaganda. Look, the logic doesn't matter. Nothing in this place does. But I kind of love that, because this is peak indie horror design. Gameplay that feels like a group project where everybody forgot what the assignment was. Then you meet the star attraction, Kiona the saber-tooth. You walk through a long, icy corridor, frost everywhere, and see something move past the far doorway opening. A big lion-looking shape, just strolling by, with proportions all messed up. Back arched, tiny hind legs, straight up bodybuilder physique. It's supposed to be a jump scare, I guess, but it's not. Like we saw Alex from Madagascar sneaking out for a smoke break. But still, I respect it. Atmosphere, 10 out of 10. Fear factor? Then comes my favorite part of the entire game, the Kiona bench scene. This is a Hollywood level cutscene. Might be the best plot twist I've seen in a mascot horror game. It is a peak R.I.P. Bozo moment. The Kiona statue is sitting on a bench, frozen in a pose where tourists are meant to sit with it and take a selfie. So we sit down with it too. Don't forget, we're trying to get footage for ad revenue. And when you look right to look at Kiona, he's gone. Just simply peak. That's the moment the game finally decides to be a little bit scary. You realize you're locked in a massive exhibit hall with 1,000-year-old boring artifacts and a saber-tooth. Kiona struts around looking for you. Your mission? Hit meaningless buttons around the room, then put those boring, fragile artifacts on more pressure plates so that a random door opens. And if Kiona spots you, he'll run right at you full speed like Foxy down that corridor. Thankfully, you can hide behind those boring artifacts. But if he loses sight, Kiona the dementia patient completely forgets you even existed. It's like playing hide and seek with a goldfish. With that being said, I did nearly punch a hole through my monitor because I died nearly 10 times. Not because it's hard, but because I kept on laughing. Every single time I died, I kept having to watch a replay of the biggest plot twist cutscene. After that chaos, you reach a maze of corridors, low lighting, and cardboard boxes everywhere. Don't worry about it, it's not meant to make sense. Even a museum has its own version of the back rooms. Here, you meet Arnold and Pedra, the birds. Arnold looks like an unevolved owl Pokemon, and Pedra might be an ostrich modeled after Opila. She also has beautiful eyelashes. The birds like to talk. A lot. Mostly to fill silence, I think. But their dialogue gives the game this weird charm. It's trying to make their world after dark feel alive, and it kind of does. It's like a taxidermy late-night sleepover. The best part about these corridors? There's a secret door that takes you right back to the beginning of the game with the night guard. And Old Man Jenkins is already asleep in his chair. You poke him, he doesn't wake up. You teabag him. He still doesn't wake up. He's just so tired after a hard night's worth of work because justice was served. Next up is the climax of the game, the Kiona chase. You're followed through the corridors and into a weird warehouse. You don't even realize Kiona's behind you the entire time. He uses his signature flash step that he used in the Rip Bozo cutscene. As you start sprinting through the warehouse, your camera is flipped backwards looking at Kiona so that you can potentially get some more ad revenue with good footage, like a good YouTuber. But I can't help but wonder where that camera actually is. My vote is that it's between his cheeks, lodged in there so that he can focus on what's in front of him. And Kiona, he doesn't even give you a head start. He begins the chase already breathing down your crack. And honestly, it's fun. But not terrifying, just chaotic. It's like the world's first found footage parkour vlog. It's one of those rare indie moments where you can tell the devs just wanted you to enjoy the absurdity of the situation. And I did. You eventually escape into the back storage bay room, a dim part of the warehouse filled with crates. That's where you meet Shen Ringtail, a lemur/bird-looking NPC with salesman energy. He tells us to keep on going deeper, that there's more to see in here. But something about his tone feels off. He's too confident, too smooth, like he knows what's waiting for us in there. He's giving off untrustworthy little man energy. Finally, you step into a room lit with a red mist. The walls hum, the smoke billows in front of you, and on the ground appears a small animal toy, one of the museum's animal figures. Don't ask me which one because I don't know. You pick it up and analyze it, and you notice on the bottom there's something written on it. It says Andy from Toy Story. No, I'm kidding. Written in ominous black ink, it says, "Find me in the abyss." And that's it. The game ends. No scream, no death, just an unfinished hallway and a line that feels like a teaser or a warning. Look, Night of the Extinct, it's not a masterpiece. It's rough and a little bit clunky at times, but it's interesting. Feels like someone bottled up 2014 YouTuber energy, added a museum, and said, make horror. It's not trying to terrify you, it's trying to make you feel nostalgic for when horror was just this simple. Games like this remind me of why I love indie horror. Not because they're perfect, but because they try. They build worlds out of passion, memes, and Unity assets. And somehow it works. So no, I didn't scream, but I did laugh, I did get invested, and I absolutely want chapter 2. And that is the story of Night of the Extinct. I figured we'd switch things up a bit and do a story from a game rather than just lost media. I hope you guys enjoyed it because I certainly did. Look, I know this is going to be ironic because of the old school YouTuber in the game we just talked about, but I actually need you to like the video and subscribe. Seriously, I'd appreciate it more than you know. So, if there are any other games you want me to tell the story of, or spooky lost media, animations, anything like that, let me know in the comments below. You can watch this video in the meantime, but I will see you in the next video. Love you all. Goodbye, everybody.